Hello, Paisanos. It's Ian63, and I finally have finished playing through Saros today. I think that's how you pronounce it. Saros? Yeah, I think that's how you pronounce it. So, yeah, I finally finished playing through Saros today, and I have to say it was overall an amazing, video game experience from start to finish. And I can safely say it's definitely much, much better than Returnal and stuff. And it definitely felt more fun, more fair, and definitely had a much more better, learning curve to it, to its, challenging stages, its weapon variety, and overall boss fights, which were hands down the best part. They were definitely a massive step up from Returnal and stuff, and yeah. And I really explored, enjoyed exploring those, really cool, unique biomes and stuff, so yeah. So, anyways, here is, of course, my PS5 physical copy I've been playing and stuff. And now that I finally finished it and stuff, I have to say it was just an amazing experience. And yes, I did use that code and stuff just to get an extra skin and stuff, and it was pretty nice. I definitely enjoyed it. Although I am kind of like odd to see why this is at 52 likes and stuff, but maybe that probably just happens like when a game gets recently released. But maybe who knows? Maybe the reviews will go up a bit because if you look on Metacritic, well, it's at 87, which you know what, yeah, is a pretty fair number. I definitely think this is a 9 out of 10 if you ask me. Returnal, I gave that game a 7.5 out of 10 because it was kind of getting a bit too hard, and not like the same kind of hard like in Hollow Knight Silk Song or Bloodborne or Burnout Revenge kind of hard, but it was kind of more like, an annoying kind of like just let me be finished with this kind of hard and stuff, and yeah, that's kind of the NES kind of Ninja Gaiden hard. Ninja Gaiden had a reason to be hard because it was on the NES limitation, but something like Returnal had no reason to be that kind of hard because I like hard games like Hollow Knight Silk Song, Bloodborne, and Burnout Revenge and stuff. Those were definitely fun, hard video game masterpieces, but and also Ninja Gaiden 4 and stuff. But Returnal definitely wasn't. But Saros, just amazing, a massive improvement. And overall, it gets a very 9 out of 10. Now, it's not a perfect game because there is going to be some few issues that I will state that did definitely prevented me to put this game a 10 out of 10 and stuff. But that doesn't mean like I hate it. No, I absolutely love this game from start to finish. From of course the gorgeous visuals, the amazing music, and the overall fast paced, top notch, well paced out gameplay. I loved how this was 8 to 9 hours long, which was a nice massive refreshment and change and stuff. Considering like the industry likes to do very long games nowadays, the triple A industry. So to see finally Sony, one of the big AA industries that like to do big, huge open world cinematic games, it was a massive refreshment to see a game that yes is cinematic in story, but is more focused on shooting, blasting gameplay, similar to that Mouse PI for Hire game and stuff. And yeah, it's nice to see this game to have the Mouse PI for Hire length and stuff. And yeah, or PS2 or PS1 or PS3 level length and stuff like Infamous, God Hand, and Ape Escape 1. So yeah. But anyways, let's go ahead and start the review now. Apologize if I, took a very long time and stuff because, I really love this game a lot. And yeah. So for credit, I'm going to be using, of course, I'm going to obviously be using, of course, MK Ices and Fire long play and stuff. I also did use, of course, um, Estro Esterco, I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm just going to call him ESO. I also did use his playthrough, but only to get the other ending and stuff because I had some trouble doing that, and yeah. But anyways, yeah, I'm going to be, going through what I went through and stuff thanks to, MK Ice's Fire and stuff. I did use some of his gameplay and stuff, and I went back to rewatch and stuff, and yeah. I still played it blindly by myself, but I did use a lot of his Let's Play and stuff. Now, do note, though, it's not going to reflect 100% of what I fully went through since there were some few things that altered my overall adventure and experiments from, MK Ice and Fire's Let's Play. So, yeah, let's go ahead and start this. So, first up, the opening obviously is amazing. Solitary. I forgot. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that. And, yeah. I really like this opening. It definitely feels robotic and stuff. I don't necessarily like robotic, but it definitely feels, it feels similar to that Mega Man X opening on the Super Nintendo where you had to look inside X's like body and stuff. And yeah, I definitely really like that. It's like a modern version of that. No content from the mission teams and stuff, and yeah. And then starting from these particles here, and then finally the sun is forever. We get introduced to our main character and stuff, which I gotta say he looks pretty dang good, honestly. And yeah. And there's that son. His name is Arjun. Okay, I'm sorry we mispronounced that. I'm just gonna call him AR and stuff. We play as AR and stuff, who is our main character. And we pick up this sun key and stuff. And now, of course, we get our firearm and gun ready. And we get ready to, start shooting and enforcing something. I don't know what we are enforcing. I think I might have forgot about that since I was just busy with the gameplay. And if you played Returnal, you may have recognized this. Love, it introduces the controls already to you very simply. And it gets straight to the action, which is something I always appreciate. So, yeah. And also being, 8 to 9 hours long, also a massive relief, and yeah. Arjun. Is that how you say his name? Okay, I'm just going to call him Arjun. I think that's how you pronounce it. But yeah, he needs us. And then we enter into, this smoky base cave. And then, finally, of course, after that, I went out to see these, particles and stuff. And this is where we get introduced to the shield. And this is very unique. I really like this. This kind of reminds me, okay, I'm sorry to make a lot of Mega Man X reference, but this reminds me of, that rolling shield, armadillo, when you charge it up and stuff. I'm sorry, but it just reminds me of that. It's like a 3D version of that. That's actually how I can say it. This kind of feels like a 3D version of Mega Man X1 for the Super Nintendo, honestly. More honorable than that, dog shit X7 crappy game was. Sorry, I just hate X7, man. But this feels like a 3D Mega Man X1, which I feel that's going to be the theme for this video today, like comparing it to that. But I'm going to let it stand on sympathy. And shield on combat and stuff. It looks really good. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. And yeah. To be fair, I was playing this after Pragmata and stuff, so I guess this was kind of perfect. I already got, basically, familiar, with Pragmata's, gameplay. So, playing through, of course, Saros and stuff was definitely a nice, really good transition and the next best game to play after Pragmata. Because I definitely recognized all of this from Pragmata and stuff. Since the dashing, the shield, the weapon, the only thing you don't really have, though, is the hacking, since it's replaced by the sun stuff. But other than that, no, I actually got used to this, honestly. It almost felt perfect to play this after Pragmata. And yeah. And then, finally, after going through this intense opening and stuff, of course, dealing with this Tohu, boss bullet hell stuff. And yeah, after we, destroy his solar cage and stuff, and of course we get these data bank entries, so yellow consort, and there we go. And yeah, that's basically around it. And then of course this is where we get introduced to the opening of the game. And there we go. Sony Interactive Entertainment presents to Saros. And of course, yeah, we get, obviously, these people who made the game and stuff. And finally, I think there's going to be a part that's gonna speed this up for a bit to 2%. But yeah, this part really made me got a lot of goosebumps and stuff, since I think this is like some kind of prequel before the events of the main game and stuff, and yeah. And here it is, Saros. And yeah, risk computer and stuff, and pretty much Jerome and stuff, and yeah. And of course we get introduced to this guy. And we shoot the guy. Well, no, we didn't shoot the guy,
I need to know that I just made the right decision.
Of course. Anyways.
It's me, boss.
It's me, boss, and stuff. And then...
I've seen Tarn since he sabotaged our ship.
And of course, yeah.
Just like you.
And yep.
Wait, how long since the last time the sun died?
And of course, last time Sun died.
I remember seeing the eclipse and then...
So now what happens? And yeah. So now what happens? Well, now we just like, you know, killed.
Good people. You can come out.
I'm not sure what he means by coming out. Oh yeah, this guy.
Arjun. Time. No. What happened?
Arjun. Okay, that's his name, Arjun.
Where have you been? And what did you do?
Nothing. I don't know what to tell you, Kay. It feels like I only just left and Tom jumps me.
You left us here. We've lost people. There's no way to get home. And you can
He's
just...
returned to us. That is what matters.
Time for this later. Kayla, Stack, go make sure Tarn didn't mess with any other equipment. While Jerome and I deal with this.
Ain't you too, mate?
Well, after he
Tarn
did.
signal out there. It's our best shot at finding the colony.
Let's find our people before that signal disappears. I'll follow when you're ready. I'll find them and make sure everyone's safe. Everyone's hurting. But remember, we've still got a job to do. Of course we're hurting. Tom was a friend. We've lost a lot of friends. I'm just trying to keep the rest alive.
Well, that's one way to, you know, tell a story. Yeah, pretty much. So anyways,
What happens to the crew isn't your fault.
yeah, okay. What they say, basically, and stuff. Sorry about that, that's my AC running in the background because I'm feeling pretty hot. But anyways, after getting lost now, because, you know, we're going too fast, it's now for us to explore this area, and yeah. The accounting colony, now I'm going to be skipping, of course, because this might take forever, but after that, I walked through this area, and this Shattered Rise definitely was already going peak. I really have been loving this so far. And overall, what I also really do like, though, is the sense of, like, kind of like a mix between both action-packed and also being isolated and lonely, honestly. That's what I really liked, and I think it definitely nails it a lot more better compared to Returnal. And another thing that also is really fun. And also what I also like, though, is that I really feel the movement just feels much better, in my opinion.
Carcosa keeps changing his mind.
And stuff. Alright, I'm gonna have to speed up a bit of my review and stuff, so I might skip out some details, but this is gonna be the part, like, where this was the most highlight and impactful me when I was playing, you know, Saros and stuff. Now, the Let's Play footage I'm showing here and stuff, this was almost identical when I was playing the game, except I was dying a bit more and stuff, but because I was getting used to the controls, but I eventually got good at it. So after that, we go here and stuff. If it can load. We go through this red underworld and stuff. And then after that, we go through, you know, this towering and stuff. Tower area. and then another cutscene plays and stuff. And then eventually, now we make it here. It's this, yeah, I also died on this part, ironically also. So yeah, and remember when this was the skin I was telling you about? Yeah, I basically used that, you know, that code and stuff, and, you know, unlock a skin here and stuff, so yeah. But anyways, after that, if it can load, I'm sorry if my computer is being a bit slow. Okay, hold on. Okay, finally it's working again. Sorry about that, guys.
Something impossible.
And as, of course, Tarn said, something beautiful. Yeah, like this video game, exactly. Okay, I apologize for the, you know, joke and stuff, but yeah, after that and stuff, and also I really like this, you know, this menu and stuff, and yeah, really like, kind of like this map, it looks kind of cool. And then after that, we walk through here and stuff, and then obviously, now we get these new weapons and stuff, and after when I was making my way through here, and then obviously I was, of course, shooting this enemy that was kind of pretty hard to hit. It kind of reminded me of Doom Eternal a bit. I wouldn't be surprised if they took inspiration from Doom, since I think so. Or maybe more of Metroid Prime, honestly. Hey, at least this is still a better experience than the actual Metroid Prime 4. I sometimes wish I was joking, but no, I'm serious. But anyways, back to Saros. After that, I climbed on this area, and then I had to shoot more enemies and stuff. I really have been enjoying this third-person camera genre, like shooting games, thanks to Pragmata and stuff. Although I think you can thank, you know, Resident Evil 4 for that. And yeah. And then after that, I went through this death area and stuff, and now I'm about to explore more of these biomes. And yeah. And then I shot this, you know, Bastion boss fight, which was pretty hard, but I was able to figure it out and get good at it and get the hang of it, and yeah. And then we have to get status update on Dramon and other people and stuff, and yeah. And then we get these case evidence, totally not Resident Evil. And then, of course, we get more of this and stuff, and yeah. Although, to be fair, I would say definitely also what made me love this genre of games more is also Uncharted. Playing through both Uncharted 2 and Resident Evil 4, and a bit of The Last of Us 1 and stuff is what helped me really enjoy this game. Last of Us 2, though, yeah, I can see that it was bad. But the one game, though, for PS3, that was good.
Where are the others? I neither know nor care.
And, yeah, where are the others? What did you do to my team? Basically. And then after that, we go through here and stuff. Shoot through more of these guys, these bad guys, or these aliens, or whatever they are. And then finally, disputes the evidence or something, what that character said. And yeah, so as I started to explore here, now we had a new objective being update. We have to find another one. We have to find, of course, another one of our crew members. And a disgusting Crimson desert boss. Okay, I know it's supposed to fit and stuff because these are like sun monsters and stuff, but I don't know. This kind of reminds me of that bird dragon that I played like in Crimson Desert. Again, apology if I'm making these comparisons to other video games, but I don't know. But here's the Architect. Is that the name? Yeah, I think it's Architect. This was a really fun boss. I actually really love fighting this guy, honestly. He was hard, but it was like a fun hard, honestly. Like dodging all these projectiles. And mostly it was my fault because I wasn't activating the shield weapon, so that's why. But definitely I was really having a lot of fun and stuff. I was dying, but I had to just do a lot of traversal, a lot of moving, and a lot of shielding, a lot of shooting, like bang bang and stuff. And yeah. But finally, I got the hang of the boss fight at long last and stuff. And finally, is this guy dead? Yeah, basically to what we're saying. Arjun. Trying to find our crew.
That was real. Tell me that was
I really like the sun in the background. It's very simple, but it's kind of like very like menacing, honestly. Return to passage like always, and yep. And then, yeah, then we get another cool cutscene and stuff. There's a cutscene and stuff. And objective complete and stuff. And yeah. Now we explore this new biome that we're in and stuff. And yeah. And after that, there's the Shepherd boss fight. That was kind of annoying, but I was able to get the hang of it. But it was nowhere near as good as the Architect boss fight, honestly. Mainly because it didn't really have that same, like, atmosphere, hype level feeling and stuff, and yeah. Then we make it to a cathedral, although this doesn't really kind of look like a cathedral. It kind of looks more like a temple. But anyways, we walk through here. We see our digitized, pixelated. Anyways, so we go to the yellow shore and stuff. And after that, we say goodbye to our crew again. For a second, I thought that said troll. And we go to a new biome and stuff that looks really nice with the desert. And then we see, I think, a flashback or something, I'm not sure. But yeah. And then we're back to playing as Arjan. I think that's how you say it now, finally. Arjan. And yeah, and then after we see a cycle summary and stuff. And yeah, and then after that, and there you go. And then finally, we have to take the crown and stuff. And as Arjun say, I am the king. Overdrive ready. And yeah. And of course, I got two endings of this game. Of course, both the fake ending and the true ending. I'm only going to show the true ending and stuff because obviously I'm running out of time for this review. And I only just want to show the good endings and stuff. The canon, real endings and stuff, you know. I did this with Resident Evil Requiem, so I'm going to do this again with Saros. And
I've been doing this all wrong, but I'm here now and I want to help.
Yeah, well, I needed your help years ago.
damn.
You came back looking the same after all.
I guess just because we're built different though. And here we go. We're almost about to get to the final boss and of course to the ending and stuff. And yeah, Solar Cage disbanded. And then we see our crew again. And yeah. And overdrive ready. Maximum overdrive. Rail grind. That reminds me of Super Odyssey and stuff. Or Spark the Electric Duster 3 to be more exact. And yeah. And of course we go here and stuff. We dash. And now I think we're almost there. Okay. So first of all, yeah, this is the final time where I saw this and stuff. I didn't collect all of this though because obviously I like to do the main story. But I did collect it as much as I can and stuff. So yeah. And then we see the big sun again. And then, ooh, here he goes. Arjan is finally here. And finally, here we go. We're ready to finish this off once and for all. And yeah. So, we're finally about to finish him off, finally. And yeah. The king himself. I kind of wish they went more of a fancy name like, I don't know, Sun God or Sun Monster or Sun Titan. But whatever. I guess this can work. But yeah. And just overall, but I say this was definitely my favorite boss fight of the game. Well, it makes sense. It's the final boss fight, so it's going to be hype and badass and amazing. And it was. I really loved it. It was a massive step up from Returnal's final boss. I can really tell you guys that. And yeah. Sorry if I'm skipping and stuff. Okay, I went too far. And then I'm going to see the final boss, what I did. And yeah, I didn't have to do this weapon. I did the other weapon, but I did do the overdrive and stuff. And it was really fun to really make use of the DualSense controller. And yeah, truly that. And finally, do we finish him off? No, he doesn't die. Okay, whatever. And then we walk away, go to her, and listen. And we walk away, and well, yeah, we walked away. We see the ocean and water. Arjon, is that Arjon? Yeah, it's Arjon. And yeah, this definitely made me, yeah, I definitely really got a bit, emotional here and stuff. A bit somber, honestly, because I can really understand what he was going through, honestly. And I can really relate with that. I don't deserve any of that. Yeah, just doing that just for this one person, honestly. I feel that really hits harder as you get older, honestly. And what happens is... Oh, God. Okay, I can feel the Resident Evil, Dead Rising, and Silent Hill here. And we didn't die, thankfully. And Arjun just, does... Arjun's just looking at himself. Yesterday's a lie. And guess who? Here she is.
This was my dream. Not yours.
Why does this remind me of Corpse Care Expedition 33?
Lose what we had. I took things too far. I couldn't stop.
You can't change what you've done, Arjun.
That's a really good lesson to learn. It's a new day. Yep, it's a new day. Yep, I can feel Clear Obscure Expedition 33. I went from comparing to this to Mega Man X on the SNES to Clear Obscure Expedition 33 on the PS5. What do we'll do with it? Well, it's unknown for now. And we get through this atmosphere music. And Arjon looks at us for one last time, breaking fourth wall here. And is it over? Yeah, I know it's over because I saw this cutscene and it was peak. But that was... Well, yeah, I'm sorry. That was Saros. But, yeah. Yeah, you said that already. But, yeah, that was Saros, everyone. What an overall peak experience this was. Oh, yeah, and there's also this and stuff. Where you see some clamshell. Okay, finally it's over. But that was Saros. What an amazing, amazing video game this was. A massive step up from Returnal, honestly. And, yeah, I'm going to show, maybe the rest of the credits later. Let me see in this playthrough. I mean, do I want to show the rest of the credits or something? Yeah, I can show it here. But that was Saros, obviously. I'm just going to skip this, but yeah. Overall, a peak experience. Love this from start to finish, and yeah. It was overall an amazing video game and stuff like that, and yeah. And how long does this credits go on for? These credits were definitely pretty long, honestly, if you ask me. But yeah, and here's the post-credit and stuff. Well, Arjun just comes back. But yeah, cycle ended. That was the credits. And that was Saros. A peak experience, and I definitely gotta say I loved it, honestly. So yeah. So overall, my final thoughts on Saros is that Saros was overall an amazing video game from start to finish. Thank you, of course. But yeah. Thank you, of course. Okay, now I think I know how to pronounce it. House. I'm just gonna call you guys House, if that's okay with you. House, you guys did overall a peak amazing job with Saros, and yeah. But anyways, guys, that's overall my final review on Saros, and yeah, an amazing video game from start to finish, and yeah, pretty much. So anyways, I'm going to put this game back inside the disc and the game box and stuff, and yeah. And also the Hands of Shore Armor was a cool skin and stuff, so yeah. But yeah, pretty much. And yeah, so farewell, Saros. Thank you for the 10 out of 10, 9 out of 10 memories. And yeah, the issue though is that it can be a bit confusing at times, but I was definitely able to get the hang of it. But much more replayable than Returnal, and yeah. And overall, an amazing experience from start to finish. Gorgeous visuals, amazing music, amazing fast-paced gameplay and shooting, and well-done boss fights. And the ending was amazing, where they see them to reunite somewhat again and stuff. And of course, Arjun making a promise before saying farewell and a send-off, goodbye, and farewell. But anyways, guys, thank this is 3 saying one final goodbye and farewell. Thank you guys for watching my Saros review, and yeah, farewell, Saros. Farewell, Saros.